All right, Starcraft fans. I hope I had a better
Hello.
intro than last time. I don't even know what the intro was last time. I'd hope it's always better. But the important thing is we're here, we've got games, and you know who I am. It's Stage Games. You're on the channel after all. But you don't know who I've got here with me because I forgot to put it in the title. So Anderson is going to be our analyst, expert, and just all-around good guy today. Anderson, say hello to the chat for me.
Hi, everyone. I think that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me. Expert and analyst? My goodness.
But
There's going to be
all-around
some
good guy's
people in
not
the
that good?
chat that don't agree with that. But no, I'm really excited. This is going to be a great CPL cast here. Got some people I know, some people I don't. It's going to be excellent.
Yeah, honestly, that's the cool thing about coming into a new scene and a new group in general, where, like, I don't know any of these people, but you get to learn the bigger personalities right away, and then you start to learn the personalities who are connected to the bigger personalities. And so, like, I already have a couple people in this group that I'm kind of familiar with, but there's a lot to learn and a lot to see, and I'm here for all of it.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. I don't know if we want to jump in right away or if we want to just wait a few moments for Escalade and Manshark and all of these people to get all their trash talk about me out. Get it out in the open. But I mean, if you're ready, like I'm ready, we can go right into the first game here.
We're going to go ahead and take a quick moment here just to talk about who we've got up. Just kind of go over the records real quick and show
Let's do it.
the chat who we've got. But yeah, we mentioned before in the pre-roll when you guys weren't able to hear us. Anderson knows NCX and Mick pretty well. In fact, I typoed on Mick's name at one point. But both of them have been having pretty decent preseasons. Less so for NCX, who's actually 2-4 in the preseason prior to this group. But Mictarin and Harokku have both been having a fantastic preseason, going 5-2. And then Terrabod is another Protoss player who's only been 2-5, but seems to be coming in here pretty confident. So,
Well, I mean, preseason is preseason, right? Anything can happen. People do silly stuff sometimes in preseason. They're not taking it too seriously yet until they get into the actual season itself. I know I cheesed a tier 0 player who will not be named because I didn't think I had any chance of winning, so I took a game that way. So sometimes some silly things can happen.
all right, but we are just going to go ahead and take it right from left to right, down to bottom to top, or whatever you want, top to bottom, however you want to do this. But we're going to start off with Harokku versus NCX. All of these games are on Dominator, which is the map of Week 3. So let's just go ahead and get it started, and we can talk about the map as the game starts up.
Let's do it.
All right. So Harokku and NCX, as soon as we get this going here, realize I need to bring the audio in. And quick little...
Well, right away, one thing that I will say is we did have an abysmal split here from Harokku. So that being said, on the top spawn, so mineral mining is going to be fairly good for him there. So it's going to even out. It's going to be okay, but that was a bit of a gnarly split there. So it's unfortunate when that happens.
Especially because of the fact when you do have those better spawns, when you do have easy mineral boosts, it's the kind of thing where you really do want to be able to take advantage of that, but if your split is bad early on, it just offsets all of the potential advantage you could have.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to have a ZVT here. I would say many would argue that ZVT, Terran favored matchup, especially at the lower levels, right? There's a lot of early game stuff that Zerg can do to make it difficult for Terran, but if you get past that very early game and you get into the early mid game, it swings, right? It suddenly becomes very difficult for Zerg to start competing once you get past that sort of 2-Rax Academy stage or around that first initial timing. And then it swings again when it goes to later game and Zerg is coming out with Dark Swarm. Then it becomes harder again for Terrans. So going to be interesting to see how both players approach this. And we have NCX here starting with a wall at the natural, which is fairly common these days.
One of the things I've always liked about just like the concept of TVZ in general is how much of a knife's edge the game really swings on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, there's such strong timings for both sides, and every one of those timings is just absolutely brutal. Like, if you bungle the Mutalist Harass on either side, the game can be thrown right away. If you bungle the
Yep.
Marine Medic push, it can be the same
Yep.
thing. So, like, everything can just be an absolute travesty if one tiny thing goes wrong, but that's for both players.
I'm actually curious too what version of the map they're playing on. Can we look at NCX's wall just very quick here? Is I believe, yeah, okay. So we're playing on the version of the map where you can't full wall anymore. It used to be that you could full wall here, but that's why he's placed his barracks 1 hex to the right, is because you can no longer actually do that. So he's done it in such a way that there's only 1 opening at the bottom, so it's still fairly easy to bottleneck with an SCV and then Marines, but just something to be cognitive of. It was actually so much of a problem on this map that they had to remove the ability to full wall for Terran in that position.
Wasn't Dominator a very, very strong Terran map at first, especially because of the ability to put siege tanks on the pizza slice right outside of the main and harass from there too?
Yeah, well, yes, that's another thing is the pizza slices you can kind of abuse shooting over the wall there at the one we're seeing the Zerglings run across now with siege tanks, for sure. Well, here we go. First Zerglings coming out. I mean, we do have, like I said, there we go. We're plugged up there with the SCV. And we do have 3 Marines now, so we're absolutely fine. Even if he came up and tried to kill that SCV, he's going to not have enough left over afterwards. So, nice attempt. Oh, and look at this.
I'm liking this little play here. Yeah. Proxy Factory coming out from NCX. Should be able to get a Vulture run by, actually, and especially because you're already, like, aware of what's going on at the wall and nothing looks unordinary. And
That's right.
Harokku didn't see that there's no command center there.
Yes, and this is very important. So he does have an Overlord coming down, but by the time this and he's taking it to the main rather than to the natural, so he may not actually be completely in the dark until this hits him. Now, the question that I have is NCX going to build from here, or is he going to float it in? In my opinion, I would float it in. You already know that his Overlord went to bottom left because I believe he saw that with his scouting SCV when he was pathing to go build this. So, you know there's likely nothing that's going to see that if you floated it in. We'll have to wait and see.
Pulling just a couple Marines here to cover the top of the wall, but keeping everything nice and tight against the SCV at the bottom. And this is the first time...
you have to. Yeah.
Right. This is the first time that Harokku's actually going to see the main of Ash NCX, but again, doesn't have any vision on the natural, so could just be assuming that most of the infrastructure is being built at the natural, not realizing that the infrastructure is being built right outside of his base, and here comes
Here we go. Honestly, there's nothing at home. This is going to be essentially game ending unless NCX really messes this up here and loses the Vulture. That shouldn't happen though. Oh, and we have 2.
Yeah, this is absolutely
This may be a
brutal.
very quick game. Yeah.
This is horrendously brutal. This is like a fantastically executed timing from NCX, honestly, though. Like, it may not be a crazy, like, execution, but, oh yeah.
There we go, GG, just like that. I mean, honestly, in that position, even if you do come in and kill the Vultures, you've already lost so much that you're going to just lose in another 5-10 minutes when a push comes out from Terran. You just won't have the economy. So, you know, very nice strategy there from NCX to open up here.
Yeah, and that kind of takes advantage of a lot of times Zergs get a little complacent with their scouting after the start of the game, and not being able to keep track of the initial SCV that was used to place that factory down was a big blunder. It may not seem like it, but like those little tiny things in a game of StarCraft can really turn it around and just end a game quickly.
Well, I mean, I guess now we'll head into the next game. That was you know, a lot faster than expected, honestly, for our opening game, but I'm here for it. Yeah.
All right, so next up we are just going to have Harokku and Terrabod then. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one going, but do you have any thoughts in general about Dominator or the way that it would end up playing with a Zerg versus Protoss? That's what we're going to have here.
I was waiting for you to ask me that. Those who know me know that I complain incessantly about this map. I actually hate Dominator.
Okay.
I don't enjoy... I think it's a very well-designed map, I don't enjoy playing on it for various reasons, as various races. But it is a very well designed map, leads to a lot of interesting games. But just have you ever tried to execute a push TVP on this map or something like that? It's painful. It's like pulling teeth. In this matchup, though, I mean, I think it's the pizza slices and the design and everything are not going to come into as much of effect or really have much of influence. The only thing I could really see with the map design, maybe having something happen, and it depends what Terrabod does, is if we do a gate opener and then we get control of the Zerg ramp because we have the low ground mains, right? So
Right, yeah.
I'll have to see what he chooses to do here.
The naturals on this map feel so much more important because of those low ground mains, where if you lose control of your natural, the game is over. So it's
Definitely feels that way a lot of the time, yeah.
It's very different from a lot of other maps where it's like you don't want to lose your natural, but at the same time, you can hold while you're taking damage on your natural, you can run your drones or your workers away. But you can't do that on here because if you get pushed down your ramp, the game's over.
Yeah, I mean, if it gets to that point, right, if you do, it's so hard to get out. I mean, how would you ever fight back up that ramp with that mischance, right? The only thing you might be able to do is, like, in a situation, say you're Terran and you get stuck on that low ground while siege tanks and they can't be hit from the distance they could shoot, or maybe Protoss or Reaver, but it is very difficult. An interesting thing comes into effect as well in, like, ZVZ. If you're doing a one-base Spire build, typically with those kind of builds, you are making an arc of lings on your ramp, but because you're on the low ground, you're actually making them at the bottom. So you're intentionally ceding control of that natural for your strategy. So it does lead to a lot of interesting variants because of the map design, and that's one of the things that makes Brood War so great, right? Is they balance by map design, so it's pretty cool.
And all of the variants and everything, all of the variants that you can have in a game is not going to be universal across the entire game. Like, you're going to have maps that are going to require a completely different line of thinking. And even a lot of the, like, crazy ASL maps that people love to clown on, like Death Valley or 76, it's still, like, you have to play that completely differently. It's like you're playing Mario Party instead of StarCraft.
So I just want to comment on something here that Harokku's doing. I mean, we were chasing this probe with a drone for a little bit, and that's basically completely unnecessary. That's just wasting mining time here for really no benefit. Protoss is not going to steal your gas. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to do that in this matchup, right? So we're just wasting a little bit of mining time there. But what I do like to see is that he only built 4 lings because he has the Overlord at his opponent's base, and I believe he already did see what he was doing. So he knows he didn't need to go 6. He could have even gone 2, but I don't mind 4 to try to chase the probe out. That's also good.
That's always one of the things that I keep trying to, as a generally low-ranked player, I keep trying to figure out, like, all of the nuances behind and, like, what I like to do is just the number of Zerglings that you want to play, like, right off the bat.
Oh, that's interesting that he did that. I was going to say, if you want to talk about nuance, I thought he drilled this, but then he mined that mineral there, so a bit of maybe just a misclick when he was going to grab it. But one thing you can do, there'll be a lot of Zergs that will block their ramp from a follow-up scout. When you have that initial probe in your enemy base, but it's getting hurt and it's time for it to leave, take a probe from your main base, right-click it on your opponent's minerals, and then it will mineral walk past anything they have blocking the ramp, and you can get in for a second scout. You can essentially do that indefinitely until you scout the Zerg tech path.
Yeah, and because of the fact, too, that, like, unless you're really clever with your Zergling placement, that drill is just going to get right on through. So, like,
yes.
That scout actually didn't see anything on the north side of the base, so if there was something like a Hydra Den that was at the very far north here, I don't think it would have seen it.
No, and I don't believe that Terrabod knows about the third either. You're going to assume there's a third, but it's not always a guarantee, right? So,
and yeah, Terrabod has no idea.
I like this, though. Lair at the Nat.
That's just a little bit of extra health that you can use there in case you're feeling like you're going to get assaulted, trying to keep that hatchery at higher health.
Well, I mean, yes, you're right, but I don't think that's why he did it. I think he did it because the probe was in his main base, and it was time to make Lair, and he didn't want to give his opponent that information. So now his opponent saw nothing.
And that's actually a really good point, too, because he killed it on the low ground.
That's right, yeah. So what do we have Terrabod doing here? Adding 2 gateways. What's the tech path for Terrabod? Where's our... Do we
Fourth
have a
gate.
Stargate? Oh, we're just going right into Citadel and Zealot Rush. So it really depends how Harokku chooses to play this from here. I mean, we did see Lair coming down. So if we were to go into Mutalisk, that would be very strong. But on the flip side, this timing from Terrabod is going to hit fast.
Right.
We may not have massive Mutalisks out to deal with this in time. One thing that is also important to note, Harokku does not really have a Sim City at his natural or at his third. So if you suddenly have 8 to 12 Zealots with leg speed and +1 running out, you're going to take a ton of damage without Sim City. There's nothing there.
Yeah, if you take a look down here, I mean, there's just the hatch out front, but there's not really any Sunkens or anything like that.
What's that building to the right?
That's the Spire. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, good. Yeah, good. So it's really going to come down to how these players choose to execute their timing, right? If Terrabod isn't sharp with it and doesn't move out very quickly, then we may have enough Mutas up in time. Just because you have Mutas out, though, doesn't mean you don't take damage. You know what I mean? Here they come. This is actually very important, too. He's moving out before legs finish, but they're almost finished. So it's going to kick in right when he gets there, probably, yeah.
And at the same time, too, you can kind of infer just based on the fact that this move out is happening. I don't think that Harokku is aware... No, he's got the Overlord in the enemy base. So yeah, he is aware of the general tech path here.
But look at this. This is not... You can't defend this with just a couple of Zerglings.
No.
This is going to be scary to defend.
I don't think
like
the
this,
hatches...
Being cautious. Okay, so legs just finished. So here we go. So now we have to see how he's going to approach this.
He might be anti-timing with the +1, though. +1's not quite done. It's going to be done in just a few seconds.
Yeah, choosing instead to go for the third. I like this. Running away from all these lings. Well, I mean, now we're being indecisive. There we go. There we go. Okay.
He just clicked the wrong ramp. Click the wrong ramp.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of hatcheries coming down here. No sunks whatsoever. So this is going to get a ton of drone damage.
Is it, though? I feel like we're running around and we're being scary, but we're not actually attacking. So this has so far been a really good defense from Harokku. And this is what I was talking about, right? Terrabod needed to attack before the Mutas were out. Now we've softened up the Mutas have softened up the Zealots so much. I mean, we've gotten what? 2 drones?
He actually had 2 more Zealots in on the mineral line of the natural, so he'd split that apart. There's a pretty substantial drone damage.
That's what I was looking at. No, that's what I was looking at. I think he got 3 there. Okay, so the ones in the main, this could be good. But overall, I don't think we've done enough to justify losing all of our Zealots.
Right.
Yet.
And the big question, too, is once these Zealots are driven off, like, yeah, I don't see anything in the production tab that indicates starport. I don't see any cannons going down. Like, these Mutalisks can wreak havoc on the opposite end of the map, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really not that big of a drone disparity here for Harokku. Like, this is fairly normal game state. We've taken a few in damage, but he did re-drone a little bit too. Back at home, what do we have for Terrabod? What's going to be the follow-up to this?
Looks like it's just more gateways. He's continuing to gateway pile up. He's got the Templar archive, so we are going to get Storm out, but I don't think he's even started Storm research at all.
One of the things I worry a little bit about here too is in the main base of Terrabod in the top left, you'll see that there's these 2 cannons. That is not enough to stop the Mutas. If the Mutas come from the left-hand side, you can instantly take out 1 cannon after another and kill all of those probes there. Even if you make an Archon, Archons are very slow and they have a lot of difficulty pathing around probes. It's not a guarantee you can fend off the Mutas by making an Archon. It helps, but it's not a guarantee.
And with perfect control, the Mutalisks can outrange the Archon, but it's very difficult, and I don't expect them at this particular rank to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, and now we see that Harokku has droned up heavily after holding that pressure, and the game's going to get a lot harder for Terrabod from here. I do like the addition of 1 more cannon. That's good. But it depends how Harokku's going to attack now. Is he going to go for some aggression, do some counter damage, or is he just going to take a 4th and start going to that mass Hydra? Oh, well, we have our answer there. We just saw about 12 drones pop, so that's crazy. And now we actually have him up in workers, which is never a good sign for Protoss.
The other thing to look at here, too, is that Storm is being researched, but it's not even halfway done.
Yeah.
So there's going to be an opportunity for these Mutas to get in here and do some damage just before Storm pops.
See, and this is what I was talking about. So look as the mutas come into the main here. He's got a couple of goons, but look at that Sim City. How does anything actually walk through there? That's going to be the problem, right?
It really doesn't. I mean, this is more blocked up than New York City traffic jam at this point.
Oh, we're going to snipe the Templar? Oh, no.
He's sniping the Templar down before Storm is done. Oh, no. That's a high-key disaster for Terrabod.
Yeah, that's 600 gas down the drain, and Terrabod doesn't have any gas. That is not good.
I feel like Terrabod's got to try and find an opportunity to make it out for a third base. He's actually sitting on a probe for it, but it's going to get seen by the Zergling. Could even just have, like, an immediate counter, because that Zergling's going to die before it kills the probe, but you can just... You recognize, all right, he's looking for a third. I'm just going to go ahead and stop it.
That's what he's doing. He's going to come kill all of this. There's one Dragoon here. I mean, this isn't going to do anything, right? So, please don't run away from one Dragoon. Thank you.
Did lose a Muta, but even then, that's not a big deal in comparison to taking out an entire expansion.
Exactly.
We have the Hydras coming down here, too. Hydras with one range upgrade. So equal upgrades for the Zerg versus the Protoss. And he's actually taking down the wall right now. You kind of expect to need to do that in PvZ, but because of the fact that you're tearing it down instead of your opponent, like, it does feel a little bit superfluous or a little bit bad.
Yeah, his wall... Oh, very nice storm there. Yeah, so we end up killing all of the mutas. That's fantastic. But we lost this third base location. And we have a huge group of Hydras up here. There's no way you're taking this area back. So like... if I were Terrabod, I would take the mineral from here.
And it looks like he's got 2 storms available, which is not going to be enough unless he nails perfect storms.
Yeah, he would have to basically not react to those storms to have a chance of fighting that army. And we do see Harokku now is taking a 4th as well. It's actually up, down at 6 o'clock. Oh, okay, so good storm, like we were talking about.
He's got one
he's just
more
trying
in the
to
tank.
snipe High Templar.
That's a decent storm as well.
That's also all right. That's pretty good. So one thing you have to be... Go ahead, sorry.
I was saying the High Templar are still around, so if he manages to get them away, then that's less gas that he needs to spend to continue getting juice in the tank, but they are going to get at least one pick.
So one thing you have to be very careful of here is you need to get the critical mass of Hydras. You can't just send in one control group at a time like this.
Yes.
Because now we see he's bled 2 control groups of Hydras because they weren't together, they weren't grouped. And Protoss is able to get onto the map now. So this is something you have to be very cognitive of as Zerg. You need that critical mass, and you need to snipe the High Templar. I would have loved to see him keep his mutas alive, to be honest. That first initial snipe before, that was beautiful, but you want to keep trying to do that throughout the whole game if you can. However, you don't want to remake them at this point, right? You just don't have the gas for it.
Right, and especially because of the fact at some point you're very likely to consider making a move into Lurkers to try and contain more of the map now that Protoss is out on it. But you can't really sustain the gas production from Mutalisks and Lurkers, so it just a pretty feels-bad moment when you throw away that much gas.
Yeah, for sure. So Protoss is now establishing their 3rd, and it looks like we did take out that 4th. Terrabod here took out the 4th. The only thing I can think of is that must have been DTs. That's why he brought over Overlords.
I think it was actually that must have been DTs now that I think about it. Because there's a Zealot still hiding in the corner, but it must have been like DT Zealot.
Yeah, so that's good. That's nice to see. And sending out another group here to go annoy that base again is excellent because we're going to find Harokku out of position. That being said, though, I mean, on the flip side, if we can just keep denying this 3rd to Terrabod, he's going to run out of money, right? If we look at the minerals in the main and the natural, they're probably quite low.
Natural still looking good, main not so much.
Yeah, main's getting close, yeah.
This is going to be able to push away these Zealots. They're not going to be able to take down the hatchery here, even though they're putting some decent damage onto it. But
yeah, looks like it's going to be saved.
Both of these players are just able to defend their new bases. You were talking about needing the critical mass of Hydralisks when you're playing Zerg and ZVP, and that's kind of a thing that I'm still working on myself as a relatively new Zerg player, is like figuring out the critical mass and how to control it all and like what is critical mass, being able to identify that. So like it's really cool seeing someone who's not me having the same kind of issues and being like, oh yeah, it's definitely possible to have the same kind of problem, even though you see all the pros and they're just like, yeah, we throw Hydras into the grinder.
Protoss versus Zerg is a funny matchup because both sides will tell you it's the hardest matchup. It's like there's a lot of nuance to it. There's a lot of certain situations you need to know. Yeah, it's about critical mass of the Hydras, but it's also about upgrades. We see that we have +1 on the Hydras here, but what does Protoss have?
You got,
Protoss has +2,
1-2.
+1.
Oh my god,
So that's,
dodging the storms.
this is good. So did end up remaking the Mutas, but we need to get value, right? I mean, we just lost, 5 there. And did we get any? We got like 1 High Templar.
I don't think we got any High Templar. We just got a couple storms out of there.
Yeah.
But now getting the storms out does mean that these Hydras are going to be able to do a lot more damage, but there's not enough Hydras here. This is doomed.
This attack is not going to work. Yeah, this is not going to fly.
It's like twice as many Hydras here.
We have another storm at the High Templar in the middle of the line as well, so...
DT coming out as well. There is a Overlord, but there's no units left to defend it. So yeah, this is looking fantastic for Terrabod.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because I really feel like Harokku drastically outplayed him for the first 10, maybe 12 minutes of this game. But we look at the game state now, and we see that Terrabod's up now on 4 bases, even on workers, a little bit up in supply, and Harokku has not expanded in the same capacity, right? Barely has that 4th up and is taking a 5th. So things are starting to swing in the Protoss' favor fairly heavily here, I'd say. Especially the upgrade advantage is going to get harder and harder to deal with. Now, I believe Protoss is going to have +3 soon.
Yeah, he is working on +3 weapons and has the
+2 armor just finished.
Yeah. I was going to say, there's been no Carapace upgrades whatsoever for Zerg. DT trying to sneak in here. He's going to get picked off. But even then, just getting a little bit of scouting information in terms of where the army's at is okay. It's not the best situation.
Just being annoying with it too, right? If you do that occasionally, Zerg is going, okay, I either have to put static D down or I have to have a little bit at home with an Overlord. And that does take away from the main mass of the army, even if it's just a little bit. Every little bit like that helps, right? But here we go. We have Protoss coming across the map. How many storms are in this army? I feel like Zerg is not going to be able to hold this.
We've got 2 completely full High Templars, so yeah, this is going to be nasty. Yeah, he needs the lurkers, but the problem is that we did have the Mutalisk remake, so like the gas quantity available, even though Harokku has a big bank of gas right now, he's just going to feel a little bit more pressured because, oh my god, look at these storms.
Yeah, big storms. We need another couple. There we go, big storm. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, this is absolutely just a crushed defense.
If we send some reinforcements now from Protoss, we're going to have a great time here. We're down to just goons, so this can die very easily when the storms run out.
There's more reinforcements coming here, though.
Yeah.
Even the shuttle, he might try an elevator across the wall into the main.
It could be. It could also be just to protect the Templar, just to pick them up so they don't get sniped. But I think this is the beginning of the end here. We see 50, 60 supply up, varying here for Terrabod, and we don't have anything from Zerg to actually stop this army. Again, all about critical mass, right? Sending just a couple of Hydras at a time, you're never going to stop this, and GG's called. Nice game.
Anderson, I feel like I'm sitting here just like listening to you talk and learning so much, and I'm just like, I realize I'm sitting here staring and not talking so often, and like that's not a bad thing. I'm just thinking like this is so fascinating. There's so much nuance to this. There's so much detail. There's so much intricacy, and I'm always in the state of like, wow, dude, there's so much to learn, and the entire time it's like I could chime in, or I can just sit here and like absorb everything. And that's fun.
Well, I'm glad you're getting something out of it. Wait until we go to PVT here, and then there's not much to learn. It's like make a zealot, make a dragoon, you win. We'll see.
That I used to play Terran back in the IC Cup days, and it was just, oh man, that was it was a recipe for suffering. Because people didn't really understand the way to like properly defend against zealot pressure back then. So you would have like, okay, go for a bunker. Don't go for a bunker. Try and get past vulture. Just defend using like proper vulture kiting. And it's the kind of thing where at high ranks, so like, you know, B rank, A rank now, people could do that or get away with it. But when you're like a E, D, F rank player back then, and build orders weren't as refined, it was like such an impossible task because every single mistake you made just made the defense that much harder.
Well, just to comment on and expand what you're talking about, like make a bunker, don't make a bunker, right? I think the hardest part for people learning the game, and this is why CPL is so good to have resources and better players to teach you things. I personally don't think mechanics are the hardest part of learning the game. Obviously, that's a big portion of it.
Okay.
But I think most people, once they get comfortable with like what hotkeys do what and how the game actually plays, and if they practice a little by spamming at the start of the game, they can get to a point where they have an acceptable level of APM to play the game.
Okay.
I don't think that's the hard part about it. I think the hard part about it is learning metagame, builds, but also the slight nuances and differences within builds that you're only going to understand why they're done or when to do them once you really play a lot of games and really have an intuition for the game, right? You're talking about, people would say build a bunker, people say don't build a bunker. They're talking about different situations, but the problem is when you're a newer player, or even when you're like a mid-level player, you don't understand the distinction between those differences and why those choices are made. I think that's the hardest part about StarCraft, is learning that, and that's why it's a great thing to have higher level players to ask these questions as a resource, right?
And I mean, even in this situation right now, you take a look at the way that Mick is doing this and everything, where the response that you have to an overpool is going to be different from the response you have to a 9 pool. But because you have to understand the metagame, you have to understand timings, you have to understand just everything that goes into it, when you come back here and you see that, okay, the spawning pool has popped, this is the timing for an overpool and not for a 9 pool, so it just completely changes everything. But like, you're not going to think about that when you don't have that internalized. And if you have to think about it, then it slows down everything, because instead of doing something, you're thinking.
Exactly. And one of the other things that, you know, to build on that newer players can sometimes find very frustrating as well when they're playing against a more experienced player, is the more experienced player understands those situations and also understands how to misrepresent those situations.
Yes.
And that's how you get something like in the previous game where we saw Harokku had, or pardon me, in the game before that, where we saw that NCX had the wall there, but no command center. He's abusing the fact that it looks like a command center expand kind of build there, but it was not, right? So
that's exactly what I was going to bring up too, is the way that NCX had played that. And another thing that like could be an example here, but isn't, because we're seeing what's happening, is after that probe had died from the drone right here, if instead of making a hatch here, he'd just gone for like a Ling all in, like, obviously it's not a great idea, but like it is a possibility as something that you could do that would be misrepresentation.
Are we gonna run by here? No. Okay.
Nah.
Good. Yeah, we are.
Okay, yeah, we're pushing on through. 4 Lings, not gonna be enough to take out the. Yeah, that's enough to take out the cannon, just barely.
We can, but it doesn't matter. Yeah,
there's
we
one
don't have
Ling
a
left
follow-up
over
here, so
there is a Zealot
it's gonna
coming
be really
out
funny
too, so
if
like,
we get this probe, but we're not gonna get this pylon, but it would be funny.
And yeah.
Honestly, I don't think that was worth it. It's, you just rebuild that cannon. I would rather keep the Lings, but that's me.
If you look at it from just a mineral perspective, it was almost worth it. From a larva perspective, fuck no.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see what Nick actually decides to do here. And this has been a reoccurring theme we've seen now in a couple of games too, is just the Overlord just happily sitting in the opponent's base. Mm-hmm. If you're a new player, please don't do this. please don't send your Overlord and just leave it in your opponent's base.
Oh, this is fascinating.
Yeah, he's not seeing anything.
Yeah, he doesn't actually see the Stargate here, so
yeah.
It's definitely possible that he's not going to be ready for Corsairs. He's actually going Lair, and if he goes for Spire, that Spire is going to be late compared to the Corsair timing.
Yeah, I mean, here we go. So now
Okay,
he's going to see it, but what you should do if you're going to scout with the Overlord is just scout quickly and then immediately rally it out, right? You don't want to just leave it sitting there. At this point, you'll now, okay, well, he's not even going to have it leave at all, but I was going to say, even if you have it leave at this point, the trajectory is seen by your opponent, so it will be killed by the Corsair. What I want to see is, does Mick kill that Overlord, or does he immediately send his Corsair to scout his opponent's tech? You should immediately scout your opponent's tech, but not everyone does that.
Right. Because that's one of the big advantages to that Corsair opening, is being able to get the information. Because, like, early on, Protoss had such just a scouting disadvantage against Zerg. And even with these Zealots coming in here, they're actually gonna see the Spire tech, so maybe you have less of a need now to scout tech. Maybe you can
possibly
afford to go in and go after the Overlords instead. I mean, that's... So, I think he did get the Overlord because I'm not seeing it anywhere.
He did. Yeah, he did.
But now he's
having
not going
this idol is... Yeah, I was going to say, having this idol is not great, but maybe he's just waiting for the second one. That's all I can really think of here.
Right, and it could also just be a case of overwhelm. Like, we can't see the players' perspectives here, not like watching a live game. So, it's fully possible that he's looking at something else, just has something else on his mind. But at the same time, like, right now, what do you have on your mind? Your workers are all fine, you don't need to juggle anything.
Yeah, can we take a look at Mick Protoss's main base here?
Yeah.
I just want to see... Okay, so he does have the Citadel down, but where is the Templar Archives? It's late.
I think the Citadel just finished as well, so I don't think that... I think that's going to be coming up in just a moment.
Yeah, typically, so you want your Templar Archives no later than 6:20 on the clock.
Got it.
Or else you have a serious potential to just die. In this game, it ended up not mattering because we went for mutas rather than, big Hydra push of some kind. But just something to be aware of if you're a newer player. I do like what Mick is doing here, though. He's banking the Corsairs and not giving an opportunity for Scourge to pick them off. And now he sees muta, so now he knows exactly what he needs to do here, right? He needs to get up to at least
5 Corsair?
6 Corsair.
6 Corsair.
Well, I don't think he got +1, so...
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe he got an upgrade, so he needs to... Honestly, I would just keep building them until you see your opponent go off muta, because you don't know how heavily they're going to go or if they're going to add Scourge. But it all comes down to the micro. This is something too, right? Is Mick is a newer Protoss player. Can he keep his Scourge or his Corsairs alive for Scourge? We'll have to see.
That's what I was actually going to think about and talk about, is because of the fact that I know that Mick is usually a Terran player, I think.
Yes,
so
he is.
When you make a race switch, you talk about, StarCraft isn't necessarily all about mechanics, but one of the things that you practice the stuff that you get good at, with like Vulture moving shot or laying mines or things like that. Yeah. But when it comes to doing another race's niche and specialized techniques, it can kind of be difficult. But in this case, oh my lord, the muta's absolutely mopped up.
He didn't lose a single one. So, okay, so that could have gone differently if we played that a bit differently as the Zerg player. So, if we use the magic box technique and we flew in not clumped up, and we just flew in over the Corsairs and then started focus firing one, we wouldn't have taken so much damage. But the fact that he grouped them all together into one little spot means all 5 Corsairs were hitting all mutas at the same time, and that really was too much for us to deal with there. So big advantage to Mick Protoss right now, and he is pushing into this third base. Unlike the previous game we watched, we do see a little bit more SimCity here and some Sunken, so that helps some, but I don't think we have enough to actually clean this up here.
These Zealots should be able to take out the last Sunken here, as long as they can get on top of it, which it doesn't look like they're going to.
Nice drill there.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good, and we have some more Zerglings coming in, so I think we are going to fend this off and not take any drone damage. But it does kind of suck to have to build more Zerglings, though, right?
Now, a bunch of these Corsairs did get taken out because there were a couple of Scourge that flew in and sniped them down. So this is actually a pretty good equalizing for Harokku. He's still down pretty heavily in workers and supply, but Zerg you kind of expect to be down in supply in most games, and it's not the worst situation it could be. Let's put it that way.
For sure. From both sides right now, I would like to see the game kind of just stabilize, right? Both players try to go for another base. We're getting to the point now where Hydras are starting to come out instead of Mutas, so Mick needs to really be thinking about his ground army, but he just lost all his Zealots. So at home, we've got 2 Templar and 4 Zealots, right? We can't exactly push out or do anything to take another base, so he's going to have to get a bit more of a mass before he attempts that.
We're on 6 gateways if you include the one on the wall, and we've also got a robo coming in, so is trying to diversify his tech a little bit, but also just scale up production for that ground army. And I do believe that Storm has been done for a while, so these High Templar are just accumulating energy. They should be able to, like, once he has that critical mass of army, should be able to put some serious havoc onto these Hydralisks.
Yeah, agreed. Is this the first evolution chamber? We have no upgrades yet for Zerg? That must be the
that's
first.
That's correct, yeah. This is definitely just kind of a mistake in the build order, like, in the chaos of the miscontrolled Mutalisks, honestly. Probably.
And look at our drone count as well. We have almost nothing at the natural. So
oh yeah.
I think we need to take a step back here, and we just need to drone up heavily before we start going into any more units. We kind of know that Protoss is not going to move out because we killed all of his army, so we have some time to drone out. Like when you're playing as Zerg, that's what you need to really master. That's one of the hardest points, and why people have trouble when they switch from a different race to Zerg, is the kind of flow with which you build your units or your workers, because they're on the same production building and they use the same resource. So when you clear a big army, drone,
so,
you know.
This was a thing I actually like find myself running into once in a while, and I just want to ask your take on it as like a player, because you play all 3 races. Is after you have dealt with as any race, not just as playing Zerg, but like as any race, after you've dealt with harass or needing to pull your workers to a different base and everything, how often do you find yourself like just quickly surveying your mineral patches and being like, oh, how out of balance is this? How fucked up is my mining?
For me personally, I would say that as I pull things, I put them back, if that makes sense.
I just kind of keep track.
Yeah, just keep track in my mind where I took them from.
Okay.
Because a lot of the time you're only pulling from one place. Like if you're PvP, you're running away from Reavers. You know, like, so I just try to kind of grab a control group or half a control group and just send them back and do a quick split to put them back. Great storms. Oh.
Nice storms here. That's actually didn't get anything that was like too spot on the nose, but there wasn't enough Hydras there in the first place to make that like a credible threat. So
yeah, we stop the base going up for a bit anyways, so it helps. But we don't have a 4th as Zerg, right? I mean, we're significantly behind at this point. It's over double supply for Mick Protoss, and that just will not work in this matchup. I mean, you need more than this, right? If this was maybe TVZ, you can live on that kind of a supply with Lurker Defiler, but not in this matchup.
And I'm thinking about the geometry of this map too, for Harokku, and like how all of the extra bases you can take are further away from the Protoss.
Yeah, it makes it hard.
Like, I'm thinking that this is like an ideal map setup for the Zerg player, but the fact that you're on 3 bases instead of having taken your 4th or your 5th is like, it adds insult to injury, because now you're trying to go all in on this. You're at an upgrade disadvantage. You are at a positional disadvantage, and now you're just getting absolutely smeared by Storms, by Dragoons, by Zealots. Like, the entire Gateway army here is just crushing. Harokku's in a really bad spot.
This game was basically over before, now it's 100% over. We just commanded our whole army up the pizza slice. We weren't even attacking, so Mick is going to walk across the map and end the game, as he should.
Yep. This is like a victory lap, you know, just a little celebration. Yep. Just okay, here's my army, take a look. Have a really good gander at what it is I've been making all game. You see this? It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, this is one of the things that we were looking for on the bingo sheets that Manshark is doing. For those of you who missed his cast with Escalade yesterday, he sent everyone a link to fill out bingo sheets of what he thinks, what people think they're going to see in a CPL cast. And if you fill out a line, he has prizes that he's giving out. So, for everyone in the chat, if you're seeing some things that are on your bingo card and you are participating, that's awesome. Thank you so much. please make sure you DM Manshark in Discord. This is really important, or else you can't claim your prizes. He's
Mhm.
giving away channel subs. He's giving away, CPL bucks. I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff. So just make sure you do kind of poke Manshark there in the Discord servers. He is there to support the CPL cast. So just want to throw that out there.
One of the big things, actually, too, is that not a lot of people know because I didn't put it in the title, because I don't put anything in the title, is this stream was actually sponsored by Manshark.
Yeah, and that's really cool.
The studio that we are in right now is actually paid for by him. So just
Yeah.
kind of very, very nice thing. Like, we have a huge appreciation. Anderson in particular, he has live information on the tablet in front of him in terms of all of the players' stats, basically everyone's detailed history, home addresses. This is, again, all sponsored by Manshark. I don't know where he got the money for, but this is fantastic.
Well, I think he's one of those, how they talk about like oligarchs and stuff like that. Like, I think he either that or he has like mafia money or something. I don't know where he gets this all from, but I even heard he's starting a team house for foreigners, and that he's going to be sponsoring some players to come live there and try to get really good and compete, to get into, at least some of the amateur Korean leagues, right? So that's really cool that Manshark's doing that.
I heard it was going to be like a reality TV show and everything too, like one of those big like mansions that they used to use for Airbnbs. It has the pool.
Oh,
and,
nice.
Like, yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm not going to be on it, obviously, but at the same time, just like seeing the production or the behind the scenes stuff, I'm very looking forward to.
Yeah, that's exciting. Big shout out to Manshark. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Anyways, though, we've got ourselves one more game coming up. This has been kind of just cruising through nice and smooth overall. But Terran versus NCX, so, we're finally at the point where we're seeing repeats of all of our players get definitely a feel for the way that they've been playing. And I think that NCX in particular, like, I felt pretty good about the way that he played against Harokku with the little sneaky base, but I feel like with Protoss in particular, it's kind of harder to be sneaky as Terran. You have to kind of play more of a solid game in most cases. So I'm looking forward to seeing a proper macro game from him.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, NCX is smurfing. I don't know how he's even in this group, but
We'll see how it goes. Are the
All right, here we
smurfing
go.
allegations going to be validated? Not with a split like that.
Man. Absolutely. I'm just excited to see what's going to happen here. PVT is one of probably my favorite matchup. Mick being newer to Protoss doesn't take pleasure yet in all of the ways that you can abuse Terran. But NCX, he knows, as I said, he's a random player, plays all three races. He's playing Terran in the CPL, but it's not like he's new to Terran. He knows all the tricks. So, yeah, we could actually get quite a big macro game here.
So, as someone who watches a lot of Starcraft, but hasn't taken the time to, like, properly learn to play Protoss outside of just knowing what stuff does, what's some of the big things that you look for? You talk about, like, ways to abuse Terran and everything as Protoss. Obviously, there's, like, 2-gate Zealot pressure, there's the Dragoon pressure on the bunker, but, like, what are some of the ways in particular that you're thinking about when it comes to that?
So when you're playing Terran, and you're playing against Protoss, right? Your most kind of typical openings that you're going to have are going to focus around getting a factory either on 16 or 17, depending whether you're doing a Vulture expand or a tank expand. These are like your standard builds. I'm not talking about if you're going for like a 2-fact push or something like that. But if you're going, for example, like a 16-fact, typically you're going for a Vulture opening with fast mines, and your objective is to have 3 Marines and a Vulture at your front that are pushing out against the Dragoon that's going to be there, so you can slip the Vulture out. And then you can plant mines behind the walking path of the Dragoons, so that when you do push them back from your bunker, they walk into the mines. That's the idea. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Because Terran is going to be doing a build like this, you can, as Protoss, anticipate that is likely what they are going to do, because that would be the most common thing to do. And then you can do something like a 2 Zealot, 1 Goon build that specifically counters that and is there before the bunker is up with stuff that the Terran cannot handle. Now, we see in this game, NCX actually looks like he was doing a Rax expand, and he's actually doing it right at the front here. So forget everything I just said, because that's not what's happening in this. And he's going to take a CC and then a factory, I believe. I don't think he's going to go factory first.
Now, you mentioned before that there were versions of Dominator that you couldn't wall in. Now, is that just Ling-type wall-ins, or is that also Zealot-type?
I think so. It's both, just
Okay.
based on the hex that they put in there, so you can't wall.
Right.
But in a lot of situations, there can be something that is, not Ling type, but it can be Zealot type, because Zealots
Right.
are much larger than Lings. So that's a whole nother thing, can of worms to get into. There's a lot of stuff when it comes to walling and how it works, and I don't want to explain it right now on stream, but that's more like, if you're learning, don't deep dive into that right away. Like, learn to play the game first. That's not what's making you lose games right away. You know what I mean?
That's esoteric. Okay, we got a bunker on the...
Okay, so
I love this.
I like this.
I
like
love this.
So, right, we went for the natural wall, and we went for the racks at the natural wall, and we did, now we're walking Marines over to a high ground bunker. But it's not going to get in. We have a goon out too quick. So if Mick is thinking here, he's going to walk forward to prevent something from getting this.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, he is playing Protoss, though, so I don't think he's thinking too much anymore. So there is going to be a Marine that gets in there. And there we go.
Now, one Marine's not going to be... Okay, I feel like he should be able to drive that
off. One Marine is, but two is good. And now we're going to repair this bunker. So this is definitely very annoying to deal with, this Mick. Not impossible to deal with, but very annoying.
And especially because of the fact, too, I feel like Mick wanted to go for, like, that 27 Nexus, give or take. And...
possibly. What does he have in his main?
He just has 2 gates and... Mick, yeah. He just has 2 gates and the Cyber Core, so I think that's what he was looking for.
It's interesting that Mick chose to do this build, because this build is what you might consider a very old, outdated metagame build.
Okay.
It's not actually considered very good anymore to go 2-gate range on 1 base. However, in this situation, it's probably going to be pretty good. So he could either just bust this bunker, and how he can do that is he's going to have to run by it and then take some damage and run by it so that he can attack it from the right-hand side on the high
outside
ground.
of range.
Yeah, and that's what he's going to do here, it looks like. But normally you wouldn't do that kind of a build, and this bunker would be extremely effective.
Oh, he's actually popping the Marines out just to try and bait the Dragoons in. Now, not going to be enough, but...
No, there's not enough SCVs here to repair this. It will die. It will die.
Still very annoying stuff, but at the same time, like, NCX hasn't invested a ton into this. He's not going to get any real damage.
Problem is he has nothing to defend with in home, right? It looks like he does have 2 add-on factories going.
Right.
So I guess he'll live, but he's got siege.
Yeah.
And he does have a wall, but we have no expansion and no real hope of a follow-up, right? If I'm Protoss here, I double expand.
I love that idea, actually. I really love that idea.
Should.
Like, yeah. I love the idea. I like playing greedy myself, and that gets me into trouble a lot. But I love the idea of... Go ahead.
It's not greedy. It's not greedy,
right?
Though, right? Your opponent just tried to do a cheesy bunker play and block you from getting out of your base, so you know that they are not at the typical stage of the game, and they're not going to have a lot of economy. Plus, you just stop their aggression. You know there's nothing else coming. So it's not cheesy at all or greedy at all to double expand from here. It would actually be the right play.
No, I got you. The idea of double expanding, especially when you're playing on a map like this where the third is a little bit more distant, unless you take the mineral only, always feels more of like an extension. In the board game Go, they call it like making a framework or a moyo. And if you do that too early, it can leave you overextended and susceptible to invasion. But if you do it at the right time, then like it means that you have a framework that builds on with your existing infrastructure. So me being a less experienced player and everything, I would just be thinking of it as, am I expanding too early? But
yeah, and that's definitely one good way to look at it. That is a lot of Dragoons. Like, that's an insane amount of Dragoons.
Yeah.
Problem is you cannot push into what NCX has here. You got to wait for him to come out. So Protoss should be just taking base after base after base, because you'll never be able to break into this.
And especially too, I need to see if okay, there's not an observer out yet, but there is one coming. So as soon as he sees that wall in and just the army of tanks, I think the next move is to just expand. He should have expanded already.
Yeah.
But as soon as he sees that, the next move is just Nexus.
Well,
Nexus
I guess the question
Citadel.
is going to be, when's he going to see it, though? We're just pumping 3 gate goons here, so...
He's got an Observer that just came out, so that Observer should be crossing the map.
There it is.
Should be crossing the map.
Well, it will, but...
It's one of my favorite gags, is just saying the same thing a couple times until it happens. There we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, but is he going with the entire... He's going to try and push with the Dragoons. This is going to be a disaster.
Well, I mean, I don't know. What does he have at his wall? Is it still just like 2 tanks?
No, there's a lot more than 2 tanks.
Oh, no. Okay. No, we can't do this. Oh, but NCX looks like he's going to come out here. So, uh-oh.
If he makes it onto the edge of the pizza slice, though, it's still going to be...
Oh, there are so many goons, though. We have not... So the problem is, we have nothing to buffer for the
Right,
tanks.
there's no vultures.
Right, so if... Uh-oh. Yikes.
This is like a festival of folly where both players are making the exact decision that could fuck them.
Oh, no, we're not even sieging. Oh,
no.
Okay, we're dead. We are dead.
2 tanks already going down?
Man.
3... Oh, yeah, this is just an absolute crush. This was perfect
That's
timing.
unfortunate. Yeah, that's just unfortunate. Okay, well, that was a bit anticlimactic. Game's over.
The idea was so there, and if NCX had just waited a little bit longer, he would have absolutely crushed the push.
Yeah, it would have been absolutely fine. I think what you were saying, like, even if we just took that pizza slice and sieged there, I don't think Nick would have actually pushed up. He would have taken a few shots and then been like, oh, that's highly reinforced, I'm going to back up. And then but at this point, we've basically broken NCX now. I do like sieging that tank at a range, but we took out the wall, so now we just walk forward.
Yeah, this is, I think this is Mick going to just be able to take out whatever he wants to at this point. Like.
Well, every Terran player is familiar with this. We call this getting Protossed. So.
No, I look at this, though, and I just feel, like, so bad because it's one of those times where NCX is going to feel so far ahead. Like, he's not going to feel ahead, but he's going to feel, like, competitive the entire way through, and then he makes one move and it just throws the entire game.
Well, he's saying in the chat here, he scanned the wrong area and he missed the goons moving out. So he thought he was safe to move out. So, ouch. That is a crappy way to lose. We've all been there. Damn.
Yeah, seriously. But at the same time, there's still more games to be played. I think NCX has 1 more in the set, but I'm not entirely certain. And he's still gonna...
I thought you were saying this was the last one.
No, there's 2 more in the set, but I don't know if it's NCX has any more.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, we were talking about this earlier too. Once you're forced back down onto the low ground,
it's impossible to get back up.
It's so tough.
Now this is, I love too the discipline that Mick is having here with the Dragoons, where he's just like, okay, I'm just gonna take out the natural. I'm not gonna get like super ambitious, super greedy, try and go down the ramp. Like, this game is over if you can't get into your natural. It doesn't matter if I go down there and take out the rest of the workers or take out your tanks or anything. It's just, this game is over.
Well, I mean, NCX is saying, who says I lose in chat, so if he can bring it back, I'm here for that. I want to see that.
Hey man, it is CPL.
You know, and he is going to defend his natural.
All right.
Like, so I want to see this.
If this is actually how this goes, like if we have a comeback when there's a 32 worker deficit, when there's 1,000 mineral bank flipped, and when there's a 37 supply interval.
Where is Mick going with those units?
He thinks there's an extra base, I think. He's like out scouting.
I think that's a misclick.
Might be. I mean, just a couple of Dragoons here isn't going to be enough. Does he have speed? I don't see a... There's a Citadel. Okay, he's working on legs right now. Because that's the one thing that, like, just seeing the Dragoons there... If he had Dragoon Zealot, like, kind of a mix-up there, should have had a lot more opportunity to, hit the tanks on the low ground.
Let's take stock of where this game's at. So NCX didn't die. I really felt like he was going to get broken there, but he didn't die. We're now back up to 7 tanks. We're pumping out tanks, double fact at a time, pumping out tanks. We have vultures over at the 3rd doing a little bit of damage here against Mick, laying some mines, being annoying, but the 3rd doesn't actually have any probes at it.
Yes.
So if you really think about it, Mick is actually only on 2 base. What is his economy looking like at those 2 bases? How much does he have at his natural? Not a ton of saturation there. What about the main?
Extremely
good saturation there. What are the upgrades at for Mick? We have a forge, but has he actually gotten any upgrades?
Nothing.
No upgrades. What about Terran? Do we have an armory spinning?
We have, looks like no armory. I'm not seeing it behind the panel.
No armory, okay.
But just a ton of tanks. Gonna try and push back out on the pizza slice again. This should actually be able to take out the Dragoons. There's more than enough tanks.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Oh, nice mine on the retreat. Good connection. Yeah, there's not a lot of, there's a lot of production available, but there's not a lot of production that has been pumping this entire time.
If there's anyone that can come back from that kind of a situation and win, it's NCX. He's the kind of guy, he'll bring you down to his level and he'll beat you with experience. That's how I describe NCX.
I've always heard that when it comes to idiocy, so I'm glad you have a very, very high opinion of NCX.
Don't worry, lots of people would say that about me too.
Completely fair. No, it's gonna try and just turtle up here and everything. The big thing is the main is almost completely mined out for Mick, so he has moved out here. But this is the first time I've seen some actual decent saturation on the natural, and I kind of want him to just, like you said, get an extra base out there still, because even though he's effectively on 2 bases worth of mining, at least he will be very soon.
Yeah, I don't know if we can walk up here.
No, not with the tanks there, not with the mines.
He gonna do it anyways? It looks like he is. Yeah, we're up so much that I don't disagree with trying this. Wow, that
mine's got some good connections. Yeah. And oh no, the Dragoons are actually caught on the E-base, so he's not getting in there to go onto the tanks.
This is perfect scenario for NCX here.
Holy.
So we're starting
yeah.
to even out this game. I'm not going to say that we're back in this game or anything like that. It's still double supply, over double workers. But Mick he's given them something, right? So
it's still a little bit of giving them hell. The miscontrol there, just like Mick not being able to wrangle the Dragoons to get up onto the tanks, was a big deal. I like the eBay float for exactly that reason.
Yeah, it was really nice there of NCX to do that. That's one of the tricks that you can do when you're fighting against Protoss, is Dragons are so stupid. And if they are out of the range of enemy units, they'll just fire at buildings, and only half of your army is going to engage. Which, as you saw, if you can break the army up piecemeal, it's much more easy to deal with this Terran. So, let's see, is Mick going to go for it again? I really hope not, but we'll see.
This kind of feels a little bit like some of the memes about the pro player shuttle, in terms of how he just gets this idea in his head at some point that, okay, the thing to do now is attack, and then he attacks and loses.
I should win, and
yeah.
Then just keeps attacking and keeps attacking and keeps attacking. Yeah, that is a lot of zealots, but again, this is such a reinforced position.
A lot of mines, and there's a long way to go before you get into the tanks.
Yeah, so it's going to get to the point where, right now, Protoss should have a 4th and a 5th base, but we don't.
And
just focusing too heavily on trying to kill NCX right now.
The little run by here from NCX has been doing some decent work here with this Vulture. Just preventing that 4th from coming down here. And this is actually a big deal because it's keeping Mick small. And that's fueling,
not letting him expand. Yeah,
it's fueling that desire to just, okay, I should go attack. And now there's even this paranoia from Mick where he's like, do you have a 3rd hidden somewhere? Or how are you still in this game?
Do we have from NCX? How many tanks are at that natural there?
A lot.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Please don't push into this. He's gonna though. I mean, I can already see the Protoss gears turning in his head. He's gonna push into this soon.
There's this just itchy trigger finger.
Yep.
Gonna come out here first and find the Vultures. I actually really want NCX to keep these on the map, so if he can just pull them away and try and get again back out to that 4th position that Mick has been trying to take. Yeah, he's going to do exactly that. Just continually trying.
See, I mean, this is the thing too, though, right? In Mick's position here, he's almost maxed, so you feel like you have to attack.
Right.
You're like, I'm so far ahead, I'm maxed. I know my opponent's only on 2 bases still, and I did so much damage.
He's
you
maxed
feel like
with
you
no
have
upgrades.
To attack. Yeah, what he should be doing is saying, I'm maxed, so I can just sit here, never let Terran expand to a 3rd. I'm going to get Arbiter. I'm going to get upgrades. I'm going to take 4, 5, 6 bases.
He's actually going Arbiter here, so he might try a recall.
Oh, here we go. Is he... Okay, so he's going to try to deny this 3rd, which I believe he will.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way that NCX can take this 3rd, but we'll see.
With maybe some very excellent tank leapfrogging, he could keep it, but even then, you're not going to be able to defend it. You'll just be able to get it landed and stop from being harassed.
Yeah, I think at this point he has to move a little bit more forward with his setup because his units are bottlenecking now. Like he can't even get anything up there anymore. So we'll see what he chooses to do here.
And
yeah, and here we go. He's moving out now.
The main is almost completely mined out for NCX as well.
Yeah, he has to secure another base.
Right. Really unfortunate that Mick didn't have an observer further up to see this come down, before the missile turrets go up. Because if he had just been able to kind of move forward and mobilize right as the tanks were moving forward, I think there was a really good chance of being able to stop the expand of pushback and do a ton of damage. But with the missile turret there, and with a couple of tanks being sieged up, and more tanks now, this could get dicey.
I mean, main thing is he could crash his army into it this first wave and take out the SCVs and the tanks, but you just lift the CC and then you have everything at the natural. As he targets this here, I think right away he is going to push in. But he doesn't have his whole army here either, right? He's mad. Oh, I love this from NCX. Look at that.
The tanks on that's so brilliant. Yeah, he was waiting for the Arbiter. That's the reason why he never bothered to go in there. Yeah. He's just like, okay, I'm going to sit back, do nothing, and get an Arbiter. But, I mean, is he just going to do a short... He doesn't even have the energy for a recall. What's he doing?
What are we doing? Okay, well, free Arbiter, I guess, so that's nice.
Sorry, I don't want to be too critical and everything, but it's just confusion. It's confusion more than anything.
Be critical. It's Mick. It's okay.
You can say that. You're good friends with him. I'm still the FNG. I got to be a little bit more fair and balanced.
Yeah. So we're getting into, a pretty stable mid-game here now. NCX is slowly crawling up in supply. Does Mick have any upgrades yet?
No, he just got the first upgrade for +1.
What about for Terran?
No
I know
upgrades for
+1's
Terran.
coming. It's not done yet, but I do know he has armories now, so he's spinning 1-1. It's almost done.
Double armory as well is a big deal. No further upgrades coming as well for Mick, so that's really been a thing that he's been neglecting this game, and when you've got this much of a bank, it's kind of not a lot of excuse. Wait, where did he stasis one tank? He stasis one tank!
And then we go, and then we pull the trigger.
There's the itchy trigger finger right there, man. But that's still getting a lot of damage in here. These zealots are getting on top of the tanks. And that's going to be enough to take out the expand.
Yeah.
It's not efficient as far as a trade goes, but it is a trade, and when you're this far ahead, any trade's a good trade.
It's good. It's good. I worry now about where the game goes from here. NCX might feel like he has no option but to push now. Does have a lot of money, so could put down another CC. Don't know if we already had one building in the main or not, but... That was funny, man.
He actually floats his main because the main was mined out anyways. Man. But I mean, even with that, you still need to defend against another push. You don't have your mines up. You are down 17 SCVs from where you were. It definitely doesn't feel good if you're NCX, especially when you know, okay, how many bases is he on? I've been scanning. He's got 5 bases now. So, I don't know, man. I do like the idea of taking this extra base, though, because Yeah, especially with mines
Why
on
not?
the ramp. Yeah, like
Yeah, why not? Why not? Right? It's one thing I will say though, like floating your main CC over is you've now lost that gas income there, so you
Yes.
kind of have to take this. You can't just take the mineral one. You need gas badly, as we can see the difference between his mineral and gas distribution. And now we see Mick doing what he should have been doing all along, is now he's going up to 6 and 7 bases. Next part of this is getting a gateway farm in another base, ideally in that 3 o'clock position.
Yes. Because that way, too, it means that even if you get pushed, you can't have all of your units contained. You can always get a flank.
Yeah, yeah. So going to come up here. Looks like he will have enough to take out this base. Yeah, NCX just cancels the CC, so that's smart. Doesn't even try to waste resources defending.
One of the other issues that NCX is facing, and we mentioned this earlier, but he still hasn't moved the tanks out of this choke area here, so everything behind it is just getting
vortex. Yeah.
Like, it's kind of a miracle that he's managed to get any vultures onto the map at all. Big march of the probes over here to the new bases. 77 probes here for Mick. That is a healthy economy if I've ever seen. That's an Age of Empires economy.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's no, like 3 TC boom, but it's good.
It's no 96 SCVs.
Yeah, it's not Father's Belt, but so here we go. NCX coming out with a bit more. Really needs to get this location just secure and unbreakable, because this is very soon going to be our only income.
And I wouldn't be offended just seeing Mick try and turn this into all right, you're at 3 bases, now you have no option but to just starve. Basically.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Let it go into a long game, just take a couple of smart trades and everything, maybe do a couple of recalls, but because, like you said, getting the gateway farms up would be a really smart idea, and you don't have to crush, you don't have to completely close it out, just play the long game, play the economy.
Yeah, we're going to lose this other CC now. I think we're close to the end of this game at this point. Losing this again is very, very big.
Really
we're down to
heroic
20
effort here.
SCVs now.
Really?
NCX definitely not giving up, for
Yeah.
sure, but I think now at this point it's too much.
Being down to 20 SCVs, and the fact that the natural CC is very low as well, like, there's not a lot of room for error, there's not a lot of room for anything, really.
Yeah, I guess my only question would be to NCX is, why not? I mean, we've lost our 3rd base twice now. Just move all those tanks further up the pizza slice, and then that never happens. Like, we have so much firepower here that's not firing.
He says you can't pizza the hut, you can't rush a Miracle Man or else you get rotten miracles. Like, he's just gonna...
I see.
He wants to keep his natural, he wants to keep it healthy. Now, the thing I want to see is actually a drop on the command center with a couple of zealots to force the tanks to all hit it and cause it to burn.
I mean, at this point, like, do a recall or something.
Right. Little run by here.
Yeah, this
NCX.
is nice.
He's actually gonna get a ton of damage off this.
Yeah, this is huge.
But again,
But
this is...
I think at this point it doesn't matter, though. That's the problem. Is
the most SCV, or the most probes he can get here is as many probes as NCX has. Which is usually a really good thing, but not so much in this case. Nice mine setup, though. And I mean, what's... Okay, Mick is completely ignoring this. He's got a mobilization out here. I really do want him to just recall. Like, you have the energy for on one, just... Alright. Put everything on hold position in one place and recall out.
the fact that NCX is still able to go over 100 supply is scary. When we're on such little worker count, it's all army. So... if Mick... and that's a lot of mines. If Mick pushes into this here, this could go badly.
He's starting the push with one control group.
Oh, is that for a recall? That is for a recall.
Yeah, this is a recall.
Nice. Okay,
right,
so
bad.
that's good. That's good. That's going to be very difficult to deal with this NCX.
Especially because he, again, has all the tanks that are sieged up on the high ground, getting right into the production.
He's drawing them all in. He's drawing them all into the fire, though. So definitely not as bad as it could have been.
It's not too crazy damage, though. Like,
Is there still a world where NCX wins this game? Like, he's killed the space.
There is a world, and I wouldn't say so much it's a world where NCX wins this game, as much as I would say there is a world in which Mick throws.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, that might be more accurate.
The natural is completely mined out. We're back to one base mining at the mineral-only third. All of the workers here pretty much are dead. But we're still at 56 workers for Mick Protoss, so plenty of supply.
Mining, I think he only has the like 2 o'clock base.
Yeah, just this one. Oh, he has the mineral only here as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So.
And then working on he's working on taking every base basically. Expansion going down here.
We can't keep doing this though. We can't keep doing this.
No. And the other thing too is like we really need to see some upgrades out of Mick Protoss. He's only got two +2 attack right now. No armor, no shields. Like
big stasis there.
Oh, finally gets a real juicy one. This is the third command center that Mick has killed this game.
Surely we've won at this point.
I mean, Mick has no bank. Mick has no bank. 9 SCVs, 7 SCVs. Okay. This game is stupid. This game is absolutely stupid. I talk about how awesome and how brilliant of a game StarCraft is. No, this game is bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm raging watching this just because of the antics that are happening here. Every tank is stasis. There's 7 workers in this game.
NCX should float his buildings. Like, you don't deserve this win. He was building a nuke silo.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
And no, Esk, it's not who's stupid, it's just this game is stupid. Let the silo build, you coward. He doesn't... He's got to have a covert op. Yeah, he's got a covert ops down here. Does he even have a barracks?
I don't think so.
That's so brilliant. That is prime shit posting right there.
Oh, that was good. Good. All right, so who do we have next? Who's left?
All right, we don't have too much left. That was Mick versus NCX. We have Mick Terrabod and Terrabod NCX. So we are going to have one more NCX game.
All right.
Man, that was a bit of a grinder for us there. Moving right along, though, we've got Mick and Terrabod. This one, I don't think I have another one like that in me.
That was excellent. I mean, there was definitely a couple of different stages where I felt like NCX was going to be able to bring it back. Like Mick threw army after army after army, but it ended up just not mattering.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, well, that was a split.
I feel like we've been seeing that a lot in this series, where it makes me feel less bad about myself.
This spot on Dominator, this top spawn, is very hard to split to compared to the others. So, I mean, it's common to see on this one, but...
Right. I am suddenly forgetting the hotkey for switching to top versus bottom. Shift tab. And it's not... At least the colors are nice.
Yeah, they're fine. They're fine. So we have Mick Protoss spawning in the north, and we have Terrabod spawning in the south. Right? That is Terrabod.
Yeah, that's
He's
Terrabod.
just
That's
using a different
Terrabod.
name. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. Perfect. So PvP. Exciting. Who's going to go 2 gates?
It's always interesting, too, with PvP. Like, every mirror matchup is so drastically different, but all have some of the same rock, paper, scissors poker game stuff going on with it, where it feels shitty to play because it's like, oh, I made the wrong decision. Great, I've just lost the game. Talk about,
Yeah, so for PvP specifically, it's going to be interesting I would say like it's very common on ladder that you're encountering 2-gate versus 2-gate kind of builds, or like one person will go 2 gates, so the other person wasn't intending to go 2-gate. They maybe got a core or something first, but they have to add another one,
Right.
Because you have this reverse ramp. So it's a little bit different to hold with your zealots if you're the defending player, not the aggressive player. But also it can be a lot stronger to hold on that low ground, because it's difficult for the aggressive player to get the surface area on your zealots blocking the low ground. You can also add a battery right behind them because there's buildable terrain there. So we'll have to see who does what. Looks like the 2-gate player is going to be Terrabod, and the gas player is going to be Mix. So
Yep.
now problem is Mix is scouting him last. So he's not going to have a great opportunity to add his own gate. He's not going to know.
Mick also didn't rally the probe over here too, so...
Yeah, so he's definitely not scouting him.
Oh yeah, this is just 1-gate CC. This could be a very, very fast game.
Yeah, so there's a flip side to it as well, right? Like, sometimes if you can get like 2 goons out and you have good control, you can actually fend off the zealots, and then you're in a winning position because you have goons with more goons on the way and range on the way, and your opponent doesn't even have gas yet. And then you can take it from there and win. But it is one of those situations that really comes down to control, and even if you know what you're doing, it's not easy to control goons against zealots. All they have to do is right click on your goon. You have to constantly babysit them and move them and hold position fire. It's a lot harder for the defender.
That's just what I was thinking about too. I was thinking about some of the like really old Terran ideas of trying to use like 1 or 2 Marines against a like zealot. And okay, yeah, you can dance it between supply depots, but you have to do all this stuff that consumes your attention, and the zealot just has to right click and go do something else.
Macros while you're trying to defend this. So here we go. First 3 zealots coming in. No opposition on the ramp, so I think we're just dead, sadly.
Yep, gonna go right for that worker line. First Dragoon does pop, but nah, this is too much.
Yeah, I think this will spiral very quickly, especially since Zealots 4 and 5, 6 and 7 are on the way. We've taken too much damage on that goon. I'm going to call it right now. This game is over. Terrabod is won.
It's a build order loss, baby, but at the same time, you got to be ready for it.
Yep, and that's why some people will go like a 10-12 defensively versus a fast 2-gate 9-9, and they'll have the slight economic advantage, and they can just defend and win. So Terrabod is also playing this completely correctly. You send a couple of zealots to the mineral line while you chase the goons with the other one. The goons can't come kill your zealots in the mineral line because they're running away from the other ones. So very nicely played there from Terrabod. Very quick game there.
So we knew about how long we had on the entire set, but we didn't necessarily know why, and we've had now 2 games that were barely 5 minutes.
Oh, I mean, it do be that way sometimes. That's how it goes.
Funny thing is, neither of them involve the same players, so everyone in this entire group that we were covering has had one of those games that's just like feels bad.
Yeah. Well, it happens, right? So I guess that takes us to our last one.
Yes, indeed. We have Terrabod and NCX. I was just updating the scores here. So both of them have been on a losing streak in the preseason. But at the same time, you don't necessarily know, especially at this rank, if that's from coming down from being like overplaced in earlier groups, or if it's just you've been really struggling. It could be either way.
Yeah, it's one of those things you're not going to get very well balanced until you're into the actual season.
And even then, it could still be rough. Alright, so PVT, one more on Dominator to close us out. And it's going to be NCX, and why can I not think of his name?
Terrabod.
Terrabod, thank you. God. Sometimes when people change their names around so much, it's like, I just can't, I can't brain through it.
Oh, that's fair. I'm interested to see if NCX goes for a similar kind of strategy as he did versus Mick. Same positions, too, so curious to see if we try that again.
Now, at the same time, I feel like the The initial idea, in particular, of setting up the contain, if it wasn't for the build order that you were running into with the 2-gate range, would have been pretty decent in most cases.
I think so, yeah.
Especially, like, I feel that feels like map-specific tech. But
oh, NCX says this is the game for the bingo card.
Oh, boy.
Get your sheets ready, so I'm excited.
It might be the uphill bunker defense then.
I thought the last game was the game for the bingo card with him, so yeah, it was.
Now, that could mean a lot of different things, though. That could mean, like, really good things or really bad things. A game for the bingo card just means superlative, and superlative is not always a good thing. Alright. Sending out a scout, gonna be scouting the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing this wall at the natural again. This, honestly, like, I do want to comment on this again. This isn't something you normally see from Terran in this matchup. It does open yourself to a lot of risks. Like, for example, that 2 Zealot 1 Goon build that I was talking about. If you're doing that build and you're making this wall at the natural, you just lose the game.
Right.
So it definitely does have a lot of risk associated with it, but we're going to see if he's doing this bunker rush build again. Unfortunately, this time, though, we're going in the wrong direction, if that's what we're looking to do.
Both players scouting the wrong direction.
Looks like I don't think you would do this on a 4-player map. You know what I mean? Like, it's a 50-50 that you scout him first here.
I feel like on 4-player maps in particular, you'd end up doing a lot more of, like, the 50% proxy rush.
Yeah.
But in this case, because of the fact that, like, you have a better chance of just direct scouting, then if you want to go for the bunker play, you don't have to be quite so all in, and it just depends on what you scout.
Yeah, and we see he's not rallying the Zealot now, or the Marine, pardon me, because we know that we didn't scout first. So where do we take it from here? What's that structure that's building at the bottom left of their base? Is it factory?
Yeah, that's factory.
Yep. Okay, good.
Okay. But overall, pretty standard stuff from both players. It's looking like we're going to see 1-gate range out of. I just had it again, but I'm just going to call him Toss It Up because it's easier.
Terrabod.
So, yeah.
Terrabod looks like they were doing 23 Nexus, but they messed up the build here. Instead of building that pylon, they should have just banked from here and then plopped down a Nexus on 23. Unfortunately, it looks like that's not what we're choosing to do. So
we've got a proxied starport here. Ooh. On one hand, I like the cheekiness. On the other hand, it's a starport. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I'm not sure what we're going to accomplish with that.
There's also no bunker here, and range is halfway done. So once that comes up...
this could spiral quickly.
Yeah.
So what we have here can push this Goon back. This is what I was talking about earlier, about doing the build where you get the Vulture out.
Right.
So this is good, but it depends on the follow-up here. It looks like we are going to try to chase the Goon. The second one's going to join it, so that should push everything back.
What's
we gotta be careful. Gotta be careful.
Mines.
Well, you wouldn't have you wouldn't have him just yet, but it looks like not researching at all. Yeah.
He doesn't even have. You can see on the minimap there's no machine shop at all. So he sacrificed that for the starport over here. So overall, this is a pretty barren base from NCX. He's going to be really reliant.
I see what we're doing. We're trying to do a dropship build.
Okay.
I don't know if that's really going to accomplish too much here.
I think that's one of the builds that Barracks pulled off in one of the ASLs to like really punch above his weight class. But
the only thing is, look at the positioning though.
Right.
You want to drop it in the main, but we're on the opposite side, so we're going to just have to fly back and then go in. It's going to be very delayed, I feel.
And not only that too, like just the directionality and it's very easy to get spotted and caught by something when you do this.
That's what I mean, right? Because we have to go back. You're not going to want to drop it at the natural.
Right.
Oh no.
This push just might end it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, range is done. There's 3 goons here.
Range is done. Uh-oh. Door's open.
Even then, you can take the supply depot down very quickly.
Kill the depots, and then you can't build anything yet.
All right, switching target over to the barracks. That's a decision.
Honestly, I don't mind that either, so that you have to rebuild it before you can get ready for a 5-pack push or something. That's also good. Mine's only halfway done. This is
dicey. This is dicey.
Here comes the dropship with the vultures in top 12 o'clock.
I'm seeing it there, keeping half an eye on it, but at the same time, all the Marines are going to die here. This vulture can't do anything about it. 2 vultures in the dropship, but there's nothing to pick off.
2. Yeah.
And there's 2 goons here as well. As long as there's any reaction time whatsoever. Okay, yeah, he spotted it. This is going to get almost nothing done. There's so many Dragoons here. Holy crap.
Big mine. But I don't think we're going to walk into that.
Type.
Yeah, oh no, please don't. Yeah, did you see that there, though? NCX was trying to draw the goons into the mine while targeting the shuttle, yeah. So, we don't take the bait, and NCX is in a terrible position now. Those goons back there look like they're actually going to take out this command center, so, oof.
Not able to trying to get a mine in, like, point-blank range. 2 of them in there, has to micro away from that.
Oh no.
Okay, that just one.
Okay, it could have been way worse.
The control here, this was very, very, very clutch control from Terra.
That could have been all those SCPs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this expansion is going down for sure. There's no way that you can keep this. You're not allowed to have this base anymore.
Now we have OBS as well, so we really don't have any way to get back in the game from here. That's what we said last time, too, but this time there's no tanks, so...
NCX has been shown to be a real fighter, a real trooper.
Resilient.
But this is... Yeah, you're a little bit too low on supply, you're a little bit too low on resources, you're a little bit too low on everything.
Look at this. Look at where he took a base. Why not?
This is I'm getting elements of Barisu here. Maybe this is who Barisu was learning from.
His protege, yeah.
Oh wait, he killed off his own command center.
he's killing all his own buildings.
Okay, that's classic.
What a troll! Come on.
I can appreciate this. This is proper rage.
He's helping, man.
Yeah. Escalade's calling for a ban from CPL. I don't know if that's appropriate.
Man, this is VM, man. This is like, you know what? I think I'm better than you, and you don't deserve to win. I'm just gonna kill all my own buildings. Screw you.
No. You see, if you listen to the Reddit folks, the bad manner is when they don't let you win. When they just quit out and they're like, "Yeah, the game's over. I don't want to lose." So this is being good mannered by hiding a building. That's besides the point. But helping them win.
But what he should do now that all these buildings go down, is he should type in chat, has left the game or was eliminated, like the lose message.
Yes.
Not knowing that there's a CC up there, maybe he leaves, as...
I mean, there's one hidden build. Okay, there's no longer a hidden building. Yeah, this is just allowing Terra to really have the satisfaction of winning a game. And look, the command center is going to stop right here where you can't target it and force him to build a scout to win the game.
I wish. That'd be great. I like how he's chasing all the goons with his SCVs down there.
Gotta fight back a little bit, You can't just completely roll over. I like how the Dragoon ends up getting glitched out whenever he's...
Dragoons are so bad. They're so dumb.
I love the video of the Dragoon that just acts like Jesus and walks across the water onto the cliff.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it glitches out when it's walking and goes across water.
Here we go. GG's.
Does the... No, that doesn't have any vision. It doesn't count. Okay.
Yeah.
Good game! Alright, NCX is definitely up there and some of my favorite players, favorite people of all time.
That's great.
Alright. This was a bit of a fiesta of a series, I gotta say. Anderson,
NCX always brings great games.
You got any thoughts on this overall in terms of what we saw? Did we learn anything today? Let's put it that way.
Did I learn anything? Not really, no. I learned I don't want to play NCX. That's pretty much the only thing I learned.
I think that's something that's worth learning. You know, you recognize who you do and who you don't want to play.
I already knew that, though, so...
So you know we didn't learn anything then. Okay.
Yeah, not really, I guess. What about yourself?
You know, I learned that this is a hell of a fun time, and there's a lot more information, a lot more nuance for me to pick up. But, if nothing else, it's just... I'm glad to be here. That's what I learned. I'm glad to be here.
Hey, man, same.
And I learned that Manshark has both sponsored this stream and is creating a new reality TV show for foreigners in the Brood War scene to enter into Korean leagues.
Yeah, it's I don't know if you guys are familiar with the old movie, the old Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and the remake that's coming out soon in like 2 weeks here of The Running Man. But that's very similar to what Manshark is setting up. Is he's going to be getting a bunch of people from the foreigner community and making them compete in Starcraft challenges to the death. Whoever wins, they get sponsored and put on a team. And they get the opportunity to play with some ASL pros. Whoever doesn't win is fucking dead. So that
proper Smash TV, big money, big prizes. I love it.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, I guess fortunately would be the way to put it. Is I'm not competing. I'm not good enough for that. I have a hard enough time 1A, 2A, 3A. So. At the same time, though, I'm really looking forward to that. So everyone, if you do want to be participating in this reality TV show, just go ahead and DM Manshark on Discord. Again, he is looking for contestants and also for suggestions for cash prizes. He has a very, very large bankroll, so just do reach out to him if you have any ideas for potential prizes.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. I mean, guys, no shame here, okay? Don't feel bad about asking. We've gotten all this dirty caster money to do CPL games. Like this guy, I don't know where he's getting it from. I don't know what illegal stuff he's involved in, but like it's never ending. He's just holding up. He's doing money spreads on his arm and posting them on like Instagram and stuff. So, I mean, he's got the funds. Just hit him up, okay?
All right. So that's all for us tonight, though. And I got to thank you, Anderson, for coming out here and just having a good time with me.
So, yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah. That's all I've got for today. I hope everyone else there in CPL land is having a fantastic day as well. And if you have any StarCraft games coming up, if you have any ladder games, I hope you win them. That's all there is.
All right, guys. Until next time.
I'm really bad at closing this out, but yeah, that's all I got. Have a good day. I'm not gonna rate anybody because I can't even think of where I want to go. So yeah. Good evening, everybody.